Oh, am I live? I might be live. Hello, if I am. Sorry, I had a little technical. I'm only a minute, so that's okay. But no, I'm still waiting to see if it says I'm live in one, not on the other. So I'm just gonna wait until. Oh, okay. But I see people are saying hey, so I'll say hey to K-Master and Nathaniel for, because I assume. Goodness, let's add. Okay, there I am. There we go. Okay, sorry. It's being a little weird today. Let me do Twitter. So much fun all the time with Twitter. Blue Sky. Okay. I want to say hello to Cornbread Pup, William Elman, Purple Goop, Slop Jockey. I think I saw Austin up there previously. I said William Elman, Alex, Purple Goop, Cornbread, Sidram. Thank you for being here. Sorry I did not tell you we were a little late. I apologize for that. Welcome back after it's been 2 weeks since we've done a stream. We're back. I'm back. We're all back. Let me adjust the camera before you can. Oh no, tripod. I should do that thing like in Popstar where they show the bee thing and just make up a whole scenario. Like, tell me you got that. Tell me you got that. Anyway, hello. How's it going? Welcome to Movie Crap Live. Oh, Ryan Walterson is here. Yes. How's it going? So, yeah, we're back. We're back at Dinosaur Series. Yeah, it's been an interesting 2 weeks. Got to do a trip to Baltimore with the kids, which was fun. You met Nathaniel Foy was meeting Doug Walker all the time. Oh, okay, that's good. That too, but I feel like I should tell you since you're doing stuff. Hey, happy birthday, and it's gonna be my birthday soon too. But happy birthday, that's awesome. Um, but yeah, I do have my birthday coming up. Sorry, I should bring up my thing here. Um, where are we? Wait, where did it go? Oh, there we go. There we go. All right. But yeah, we caught up on all the Spider-Man, so we watched No Way Home again. That was so good. I think when I was watching, I realized the thing with it is the thing with it is I think it is convoluted, messy like the previous one, but it's like you're kind of more with it because there's so much going on and it's such an event. But anyway, um, trailer. Why didn't the Avengers railed? Didn't have. I thought I read that as like they should have rallied up Paul Blart. But okay, so I have a special energy drink, not just the water. That's not an energy drink. Is this? It's called XXL Energy, and it says with CO2, which to me, I don't understand how a drink can have CO2. I found only one of these in a deli, and I said, let's go for it. XXL Energy. I should have cleaned this off a little. Hold on. I did not like that movie. Wait, which movie? No Way Home? I think it's fine. I get when people are like, it's cheesy. I'm like, well, yeah, it's the three Spider-Man movie. Maybe I should. Um, all right, let's see. Okay. I'm so curious what. Okay. It just tastes like cough syrup. But yes, cheers to you. No, they should have had Paul Blart. Let's put this here. There's a lot of vitamins in it, apparently. Anyway, hope you like my little song. What song? What? Oh, I know what you're talking about. Um, no. But yeah. 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 Okay. That's it. That's gonna be an interesting one tonight. It keeps me up. Oh, Guinness Beer has CO2 in it? Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know. I mean, I guess every fountain soda has CO2 in it as well. I have not talked about Detours will be one of the segments. Yes, I still like No Way Home, but I get if people don't like it. I went to Baltimore. Um, this is Movie Crap Live. Everybody gets some pie because it's Movie Crap Live. Okay, all right. Um, I don't know. I'm fine with it. I always like New York. But yeah, we went to Baltimore. That was fun. Got to do some cool stuff. Got to you'll see. I there might be a Baltimore trip video. It was fun going on a trip. It was kind of me with the kids, so it was a solo parenting trip, but it was I thought it was good. And my mom in the video you'll see my mom has a He-Man kite from 1980. It says 83, and it's still in good shape, and she's kept it in good condition, which is amazing. So that was fun. And what else? Yeah, we went. I don't know. I just had a good time, and I do think, and this was brought up because we were watching Abbott Elementary, that Baltimore does have its own pizza, and it's kind of interesting. It's a little more homemade, less processed and stuff, but I kind of this tomato sauce is a little chunkier. I don't know. There's a thing to it. I definitely feel that way when like the local place, not fucking Domino's. Also, I found Scooby Doo. I guess it's Ghoul School on Internet Archive, and Oscar watched that on the ride back, our bus ride back. And while watching it, or while he had his headphones on, and I was like, man, I should watch Ghoul School. I know a lot of animators really like that one, but I get it because it looked like fun just watching the visuals. But he really liked Ghoul School, so I need to add it to our Plex and stuff. It's not a review of Ghoul School. It's like Ghoul School is cool from the visuals I saw from it, or Scooby Doo Ghoul School, I guess it's called. Anyway, yeah, I haven't done that. Um, I do have tickets. I think I'm seeing Spider-Man on my birthday, which is gonna be cool. Um, but yeah, they're actually clearing out everything for Spider-Man this weekend. Sorry, I do have a bunch of stuff, so I want to like. Sorry if I'm rushing. Um, but yeah, one thing, I do not have. I never. Well, the thing is, I never had a Baltimore accent. And a lot of my friends who started it in their 20s did it as like a joke. I don't only know a few people of authentic one, but the two ones are like Baltimore, Maryland, or then it's like Beaumont. I'm from Beaumont, and it's like one or the other. But oh, it's the daughter of Godzilla. I didn't realize that. Okay, I need to. Yeah, it's definitely the original Monster High or all the ripoffs of that. Absolutely, I'd agree with that. But it looked more fun. But watch it. I was thinking all the best Scooby Doo movies I think are not theatrical, right? I think most of them are direct to video or Ghoul School was like syndicated. Anyway, I'm pretty sure. Um, all right. Other stuff. My wife and I were watching. What's it? Widow's Bay. And at first, I still liked it. I think it's a good show. But at first, when I was watching it, I was like, it's just the plot of The Fog, and I was like, I like this, but I'm not in love with that part. But the third episode generally really good, proper horror show episode. So if you want to get into it, I would say get to episode 3 because that's like really. I'm like, okay, now I want to finish this thing because it's really good. And lastly, let's just do this so we can. There's only yeah, that's true, but I haven't seen the live action one, so that's something maybe I'll do at some point. But anyway, I guess it go to theaters anywhere the last one. Oh, I suck farts. Okay, Vincent, how's it going? All right. The other stuff is, well, I do have my birthday coming up, so that's gonna be fun. Because of that, there probably won't be anything on Sunday. I usually do a throwback on Sunday, but I'm just gonna move it to Monday because I want to have the Flintstones, the man who called Flintstone, video as a throwback. So it'll be on Monday, and also the cartoon that I made that I did a voice in called The Puppy Guard comes out tomorrow. I think it premieres at 1 p.m. Um uh but I do a voice in that. I voice a character in that. But that'll be on my community post probably on Saturday. So that's why it is that way. So if you see it throwback on Monday and Tuesday, that is why. And I think I'm gonna try to post my Odyssey review Saturday or late Saturday night. Maybe even into Sunday, but we'll see. That's my plan. But I just want to let y'all know why you'll get posts in such a weird manner, you know. But yeah, the Puppy Guard, I'm excited because it's like a pretty pretty cool cartoon, and it's gonna be out tomorrow. And it was a good part. I thought it was a good part for me, which I don't always get. Cool parts like that, and that was kind of neat. So yeah, check it out tomorrow at 1 p.m. if you're around. It is, I believe, 2 words, but I will. If there is I don't know if there's gonna be a premiere thing. I'll link the channel in the Discord. And if I can find it, I'll try to tweet it and so forth. But I will post it throughout. I guess I'll do a bigger post. Maybe anyway. It'll be. I if you follow me on socials and stuff, the link will be there. I guess I'll put it in the something. But yeah, I don't know what to expect other than my part. But I liked my part. I play like a dad, and that's kind of neat. I don't think I've acted a dad part before, right? I don't think. Oh yeah, my one Odyssey thing is, when I saw the Odyssey, they mentioned Athena. I forgot the girl from Cleese the Fetus is named after Athena from the Odyssey. I forgot that until the movie started. I was like, oh yeah, all right, I forgot about that. So I'm not going to make a Cletus the Fetus compilation of Athena cartoons, but if you want to go check those out, and you can say it's related to that. I literally forgot. I like not trying to. I posted on Discord because I was like, "All right, why did I even?" I like didn't think about it this whole time until the first time they said Athena. I was like, "Oh, right, yeah," because I was in like first year of college and Cleese was developed. So, what of Athena in from Cleese the Fetus? I don't think she's as big of a character. Um, I don't. I if someone wanted to, that'd be cool. Anyway, um, I think that's everything. I can't think of. Oh, I am working on the digital circus thing. I'm like slowly. I think I'll do a review, but it'll be once the summer's done or something. But I will do a review of the whole thing. I'm just, obviously I wasn't going to make it on time anyway. And I think that's everything. Oh, one more thing. Sorry. I'm sorry I had so many shorts. Recently, it's just sort of how it worked out. I don't think there'll be as more after that, but I'm just letting you know. Apologies if you're like, where are the reviews? What's going on? But I was like traveling, and the Spider-Man theme song thing was sort of just something I was messing around with. So anyway, oh yeah, I saw a baseball game. Oh my god, I saw an Orioles game, and that was pretty cool. You'll see it. It was pretty cool, but I mainly ran around the stadium with my son. I got to watch the first inning, and then the seventh and beyond. Or yeah, basically. So that's what's going on. I've seen the OKKO episode, but I didn't get the reference fully. So now I will. I should rewatch it. All right. Let's hold on. Let me get this all settled. Okay. I think the Sonic one's the best in my mind, just because of what it represented, That's all. All right. How often do you look at your bra and say you have what size? All the time. All right. Let's start. This and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, either through super chats during the show, where I'll drink this amazing XXL energy drink. If we get to $20, we'll have this go all flashy. We get to $40 or multiple $40. Did your jaw got hit somehow? Oh, Godzilla. I didn't notice that till now. That sucks. Okay. If we get to $40, we get a roar from Godzilla. This is where we're at with Godzilla now. As you can see on this end, he got messed up. That's definitely. I know which. Well, it's definitely Oscar. Oh yeah. This guy, he made this today, and I was like, can I have this with my guys? And he thought it was really cool. I wanted it, but he's cool. Look at that guy. He drew on this guy today, this camp or whatever. That's cool. I'm gonna share him next to my, I guess, worth something, that one. Oh, hey, what's up, Gary? All right. Anyway, sorry. This and everything is forwarded by the fans, through super chats or through my Patreon, which has all sorts of cool exclusive stuff. like you have more power in the movie review vote. You'll get postcards. I have kind of cool postcards this month. If you get a postcard, you'll see it'll be out soon. And then what else? You get my commentary series. There'll be new ones out soon, as well as my you get more power in the movie review vote. You get access to my public access show and all sorts of exclusive stuff through that, and it's a great way to support the show, especially like you can't be here for Movie Crap Live and you want to support the show. That is a great way to do it. I am going to try to make more options for that soon, but if until then it's either super chats or this, or I guess the super chat when I'm doing a premiere or something. But ooh, the RPG World episode is good. But anyway, if you financially are able to do any of those, I very much appreciate it. If not, liking this video and subscribing also helps. And if you want to be subscribed and turn notifications on, if you want all those notifications on, if that is something like, oh, I would like to know when more of your stuff comes out, then click on that one. However you want to watch my stuff is fine. I'm just letting you know all the options. Oh, you like that? Yeah, that's true. But thank you very much, however you're watching it, and I very much appreciate you being here and watching this stuff. I mean, yeah, that is kind of why I watched it, but it is a funny video. I was kind of always wanted to do it. I'm kind of doing weirder Spider-Man stuff this time, I guess. Also, we have the Discord, which is run amazingly well by Austin Cornbread, Zane Powers, and Ryan Welcherson. They do a wonderful job, and there is a movie watch this I don't know about this week, but they do movie watches. They do all sorts of cool stuff. They use an Ask Jim channel. There's playing cards discussion channel, licensed playing card channel, which these guys are still going. They have all sorts of cool stuff there. Oh, next week we're watching Spider-Man. Next week they're watching Spider-Man, the first 2002 Spider-Man. They do all sorts of cool stuff. It's a wonderful community. If you like the chat during the show and you're like, I'd like to hang out with those people, you can join it. It's one of the best Discords of Discord, the best server Discords. But yeah, sorry about it. I almost said this week. My bad. My bad on that. I don't know why I did that. I was just talking. All right, let's get into it. I'm gonna kind of do a bunch of stuff, and then I'll get into Marvel Comic-Con stuff because I don't want to go into this. I would like to do the Spider-Man, like the Japanese Spider-Man and the live-action TV show at some point. We'll see. There's only so much time you have really with me and all that. All right, so Common Side Effects Season 2, we got a 4-minute kind of more than a trailer that came out around Comic-Con. It looked really cool. We're getting the idea that they're on the run, that woman on the motorcycle. I guess it seemed like the first 4 kind of minutes with a summary of what's going to happen. I thought it looked really cool. I'm so excited for this show. It comes out next year, but I think it's going to be pretty phenomenal. And that was a really good clip. A really cool way to be like, hey, this is what's going on. They're going to be on the run with all the mushroom stuff and, all that stuff. So we'll see. I would like to do, nice, Austin. I would like to do my review of Common Side Effects Season 1 around that time, but we'll see. But anyway, yeah, it looked really cool. It made me very excited for Season 2. I like the idea that they're going to continue being on the run. And I wouldn't mind if it gets more into them, the two of them going together and stuff. But we'll see. Obviously, more people will be chasing and there'll be more plot lines coming out and stuff like that. But I think it looked really cool. I understand if people don't want to watch the trailer because it is a major part of it. So, but it looked really cool. I enjoyed it. I'm excited for Season 2. It looked very promising. William Woman said, I enjoyed the new Nicholas Winding Refn one because it's not just a Brian De Palma pastiche like most modern giallo, but attempts to be a genuine giallo, and it could be in my top 5 Pinot Grigio scores. This is the first, by the way, William Ullman. First off, cheers to you, sir. This is the first positive thing I've heard about that movie. I'm gonna be honest with you, and we're at I've heard really negative things about that movie, and I was like, man, I guess he's not on it as much. I also think because people are talking about Drive a lot, and that's a bit much. Oh, Mandela Butterfly, thank you for 188 super chat. Cheers to you, sir. That's interesting. I didn't realize it was a giallo. Okay, I don't know if I'll. There's too many big movies and stuff. I am still kind of curious. I've kind of lost. I used to be one of my guys, and then after what was it? The one, the fashion one, I kind of lost track of him a bit. So maybe I'll try to check that one out. Him doing De Palma sounds interesting. I like the Pusher, the first Pusher. That was cool. Um, okay. Other Adult Swim stuff. We learned that the regular show Lost Tapes, are going to get 10 new episodes in September. I'll probably do a review of the Lost Tapes, season one or whatever it is at some point. Um, uh, I mean, yeah, I guess you're right, Jordy Hart. They probably missed out. It was Neon Demon I was talking about. They probably did. Neon Demon was a bigger deal. I think that's when the public kind of. But didn't he do a show or something? I lost track of that guy. I'm sorry. But that sounds interesting. What you're describing. We also learned that there's going to be Adventure Time Side Quest Season 2, although nothing was confirmed about a release date for that. I can remember Neon Demon pretty well. There's bigger movies I've forgotten more of than Neon Demon. So, but that's what happened. At least Cartoon Network wise, it's at least I want to talk about from San Diego Comic Con. I thought I'd start the show off with that. My next two are a little more serious. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Only moment. He said people don't like it because it has a purposeful, incoherent plot, and most of the actors are there to look good and not act well, like a lot of Italian style. You know what? Okay. Now I want to see this. Thank you for clearing that up. I shouldn't have listened because people are being extreme, but none of them are people like I usually listen to. So it's like, oh, but they're being so extreme. I don't know. All right. So this is something I really do want to talk about. And I'll spend a little time on it, but not too much, because I know, like, I do really care about criticism, and I do get really into it. And the Emily Wilson review of the Odyssey film is interesting in the way that it is really bad. It's not very good, and I want to talk about all the ways it is not very good. One, and I have said this, it is 100% a conflict of interest because her translation of the Odyssey is the one that Christopher Nolan is like, this is the translation I use. This is why I wrote it this way because of her translation. He's promoting her. She's making money because of the film, because people know that's the translation they use. So she is profiting from. She's definitely maybe indirectly. I don't know how if you want to say directly or indirectly because it's translation. Everyone knows her translation. I get that she did not write the actual Odyssey, but she's at least that part I don't like at all. Regardless of how this was written, this is not okay to do something like that. You're supposed to be objective, or at least at the beginning, because this is from the London Review of Books. They should know better ethically for journalistic ethics, saying to have a label saying, "Hey, this is the woman who made the translation of the Odyssey." She says it at the end actually of the review, but there's nothing like that. There's unless you know that you wouldn't know until you get to the end, which I didn't like. But then here's the thing: everyone's saying, "I'll talk about Matchbox movie. Don't worry." The other thing is because I've heard people say, "No, it's actually really good and it's a wonderful piece of criticism," and she has great opinions. But then she does some racist shit in the middle. And here's the thing: if racism is like not a good opinion. And if you want me to think someone has good opinions, racism is a terrible opinion. And it shows you have bad opinions if you're doing shit like that. And so, yes, she does have bad opinion. And the way she wrote it wasn't good because she does this whole thing about like, oh, use the black or brown best friend trope, I believe is how she described it in her piece. And if you were going to say the guy, what's his name from yesterday, who is with Matt Damon the whole film, or Corey Hawkins, I believe his name, with Robert Pattinson, and you could say, I understand if you're talking about those guys, even though I don't think the Odyssey does that at all. I understand your point to a degree, right? But she then lists Travis Scott and Zendaya and Lupita Nyong'o and like all these people who that is not their part at all, lady. Like what? And she doesn't give any at all examples. she's not citing her work. You're an academic. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's a primary thing of a review. When I talk about how, like, this is like a certain horror movie, I list them so you know where I'm coming from to accurately communicate. She is like, and I will say, I did get some pushback on social media, but I noticed when Joyce Carol Oates was like, this is bullshit. And I think you're like trying to do, get MAGA people on your side and stuff to get more book sales. And then people shut the fuck up. I noticed when Joyce Carol Oates did that, everyone was like backing away from every argument with that. They're like, she cleared the air, but she was right. All the response, I didn't go through every one of her responses. My point thing here is, this is not good criticism. If you're doing racism in the middle of it, and it's not even like, if she had a point, if she was like in, I don't know what Black Best Friend movie or however she's saying it, she is using as a context, because it didn't seem like she had any. I don't like this thing. I think it is really more, if it's not, people are saying it's not a conflict of interest, but I'm like, well, she does profit pretty directly from being able to write this. It's like definitely doing that. It's awful to insert other film. Well, I'm just talking about this one. But I just didn't. I guess I did last time, so I apologize, Ryan. But I do. I really didn't like it. I don't like the reaction. I didn't like how she did that. I thought it was badly written, and the fact that she's like, "Oh, this has helped my book sales" at the end. I don't trust people who say that this is good. It is not good. It is definitely racist, and it also is a major moral, like, it's morally like compromised. It's like your ethics should not be should be better than that, especially if you're an academic. And like, people are like, oh, well, this is why people hate those people. Like, I think it's like, it's one thing if you're, she walks into class and her class asks her, what did you think of the Odyssey? And she talks about it. That is a different thing. Or if she did an interview, or if she waited to the 10th anniversary or something. But she didn't do any of those things. And, there's people who, they'll know at the end of the thing, but it's just like, it's very disingenuous. And I really didn't appreciate it. And I think she should know better than what she did, basically. And she got her name out there, and she, while her name was high profile, but what she should have done is make a new translation, go on some podcasts, pump up the persona a bit. But this is really sad and pathetic, and I really didn't like it. So anyway, I'm sorry I'm always like talking about people's reviews. There have been two that are interesting, and I thought that one was interesting to talk about there. It was, that part at least was a racist rant, and I noticed a lot of people were ignoring that, but I'm like, she doesn't have good opinions if she's doing shit like that. It's just, and people are like, well, she's not really a film critic, that's not her thing. And I'm like, well, then why are you writing film criticism? Like, I really hate when people are like, well, they're not really a good critic. I'm like, so, but they were paid to do film criticism, so then why did we do this then? Anyway. No, well, that's the other thing. She didn't understand it's a different interpretation, and I do not understand if people don't have a problem with that. But whatever. Sounds like she should just watch Moana. All right. So in other, thank you, Slapjacky. In other things here, I'll do a funny one, and then I'll do a less funny one, and then a funny one. How about we'll do it that way? Well, I guess it's not necessarily funny, but it's one thing I've noticed. And this is not calling someone out from the Discord, because I know you guys read it that way, but other headlines have read it that way. So anyway, I do want to clear that up, so I didn't want people thinking I was talking shit. But everyone says, so basically what happened is Atari is sold the rights of 10 games to Universal. But all the headlines were Atari sold Pong movie rights to Universal and like 9 other things. Who fucking cares? Basically, and that's not what happened. They sold like 10 rights. I honestly, like, there's nobody attached. There's no idea. So those ones are Asteroids, which I actually think that I could see, Adventure, Berserk, Breakout, Centipede, which is another big game, Crystal Castles, Millipede, Missile Command, Pong, and Yar's Revenge. So it was 10 titles over. They sold all of them. Everyone seems to think it's Pong, basically. But there's no one that's been announced, or no direct, The guy who directed Backrooms wasn't like, I gotta do the Pong movie. So I don't. Or wait, Obsession is with them, right? Okay, so the Obsession guy wasn't like, I gotta have Berserk. But they bought the rights. I think it's a smart. I'm not sure how much they paid. I think in the grand scheme of things, it's smart because video game movies are doing well. It depends on what the take is and all that. I think Asteroids could really be something. Um, so I think that could work to a point, but they sold 10 games. There's no development deals with any of them. Um, it might have just been the people who own Atari were like, we need some money. And it's basically like I've been watching all the Spider-Man stuff because I've been making Spider-Man stuff, the Spider-Man movie. And that's basically what they do with the Spider-Man rights. You're like, oh, fuck, we need money. Who has the Spider-Man rights right now? Let's sell off some movie rights and then they get some money. So I think it makes sense. That might be what they're doing. But I also, from Universal's perspective, I think, when will I finally get my Pitfall movie? Well, it wasn't listed. I don't know, man. They wouldn't sell it. Did they do it, or is it a developer? Cheers to you, William Ullman. Cheers to you. All right, next one. Okay, that one's gaining on. It's not the. I can see why nobody. Oh, Pitfall's Activision. Okay. Um, Pixar. Sorry, I want to do a bunch of stuff before we get into just Comic Con crap. Pixar is going to be laying off a ton of people because, as they say, the non-success of Hoppers, which almost everyone thought was a success, until I'm going to switch this back for now until the next. But thank you everyone for the support, by the way. Because they felt the success of Hoppers was not enough, and even though they just had a film that made is one of the films that made $1 billion this past week, they had to cut people because of the non-success of Hoppers. This is, and we'll talk about this later because I'm literally just going to do all the Marvel stuff in one section because there's a ton of it. It's not worth bouncing back and forth. That would be annoying. But Disney, I don't blame Hoppers. I really am starting to be sick of Disney and their bullshit because it does seem like anytime they have an original thing and it fails, they're like, well, looks like it's that fault. Instead of going like, well, it did do well. You do need new properties. Like, you don't need to constantly just be doing sequels over and over again. It feels like they're justifying, like, well, this is why we need Toy Story 6. This is why we need Incredibles 3. This is why we need, Finding Nemo got lost again or something. This is why we need Cars, whatever, like Planes 3. Like, this is why, because, you have to be artistic. And it's like, I don't like that. And it did seem like also, like, their budgets make no sense. Because they're like, well, it costs $150, and like almost anybody who did analysts on it felt it did do well, but like we've decided it didn't. And you're like, well, why? And like, it didn't do well, so don't worry about it. It didn't do well. That's it. And like, to me, it's like I thought that was a real win for Disney and Pixar. They got the We Bare Bears guy. They have a new animation auteur, and then they're like, now we're fucking firing all these people, which is depressing. I really don't like it. Um uh but that's yeah, I guess it is. It did make an assload of money, but I don't see how it would. It's an original thing. They have like no patience for anything anymore. I don't know. It really turns me off how Disney is so against anything that is not a huge success. Um but I find it to be really distasteful. I know they did it with like Elastigirl paper and stuff. It's a whole thing there, and I really wish they didn't do it. But it's I really wish Pixar was not just firing people, but especially like when their films like blowing up at the box office is very, very silly. I don't really understand what we're doing here, but it's depressing. Anyway, all right. So here's the funny one, and the one that I think is one of the thumbnail ones. So we've hit. What's in the thumbnail? Oh, we've hit. We've hit. This is the second thing. So Star Wars Detours. If you don't know the background, I'll give you a quick overview. Star Wars Detours is basically, to my understanding, and we haven't seen it other than a few clips that have come out, a sort of Robot Chicken like show with Star Wars characters. It was wait, what? They received 26.2 million for these layoffs. Fucking hell. Jesus. Anyway, so Star Wars Detours, they basically Seth Green and I think his stupid monkey people, that's the name of his production company, not a criticism of his writers, but you could take it that way too if you want. Um they made it in 2012 or before. If you ever, there's a great podcast, Star Wars podcast called Blast Points, and they did a episode about Star Wars Celebration before the 2012, before Disney, it was official Disney bought Star Wars. And like Star Wars' ideas were like, hey, Angry Birds with Star Wars Detours, let's do Pez dispense. Like it was just like Star Wars was very much leaning into silly stuff. And then Disney bought Star Wars and they're like, yeah, fuck that. It's all done. We're not doing that no more. But basically he developed a show, I think it was like a lot of episodes were made and it never got released. But now Seth Green at Comic-Con, there's a lot of Comic-Con news today, sorry. Said that this will play at George Lucas's Museum of Narrative Art. He said, we made a show with George, an animated series. He said he wanted to make Simpsons in the Star Wars universe. That is not what I've seen as Detours is, but whatever. Star Wars, it's called Detours, and there's going to be a curation of episodes from the show on display for the public. Now, what this to me means is they're going to have certain episodes that will play in a certain part of the museum. What this usually means, and as I actually kind of know a little bit about this, I've seen this with John Waters, and I heard it from a curator on a different interview. With John Waters, usually if there is an exhibit, he'll have some way to watch his early shorts, which you can't see anywhere like publicly or on demand or anything. And so what I miss, and apparently other artists do this, like if they have a short film, and they're like, I don't really want it on YouTube or on DVD. And they'll like have a thing anytime they have an exhibit, like, oh, you can watch it in the theater there, or they'll have it on a TV in a little room or something like that. So this is effectively like that. It just kind of gives a little more value to people. And I think they kind of knew like, oh, well, people will be excited about it. I'm curious like what exactly justifies which one goes out and stuff. I'm not sure if like Lucas through the Disney sale got the rights and like Disney doesn't. I do find it weird, like just put it out. Who the fuck cares at this point? Like why this has become such a weird corporate thing. I do think it's funny that the way Star Wars Detours, which looks like a MTV2S 2008 show, is going to be playing on in a museum to make its debut is the weirdest thing I've ever heard. It's like, what? Robot Chicken Star Wars gets to be in a museum. Okay, all right, guys. I just find this to be really weird, but Star Wars Detours has always been an odd show in itself. I think it would have done fine, but it is very much like if Disney hadn't bought Star Wars, I bet this would have been more of a thing. I actually think put it on Adult Swim on April Fools or something. I think that's the best idea. Don't. But this museum idea is so bizarre. It's such a cruddy looking ass show. I don't know. I'm not a big Robot Chicken fan, but this everything I've seen from this doesn't look that great. But I do like that he that show belongs to the museum. I do like that he's like, no, it'll play it. We'll put it on at the Museum of Narrative Art. I get what if it's just on a TV next to the bathroom? You're like, what is this? And there's just like headphones dangling, and only one person can watch it between the male and female bathrooms. That's what I expect. I really want to see. Now I want to go to this museum, but I'm curious, like which episodes make it and which ones don't. Like, what is the Star Wars Detours that's too bad to be released to the public? But yeah, it's gonna play. It is going to be released. Someone will actually get to watch Star Wars Detours who isn't Seth Green. So good for Detours. It's finally coming out whenever the museum, George Lucas's museum, opens. You can go see it. I'm curious how they're going to do it, but I mean, I guess he still has it. I guess maybe Disney didn't want. I wonder. Here's the thing. Disney did distribute Strange Magic, so now the real question is this worse than Strange Magic, or not? Oh, what was it? Should be true video art installation experience where 6 TVs are playing at once and you can't hear anything. Like if you go to the Museum of Moving Image, they have every Muppet Show playing at once, and you can't hear it because obviously that would be horrible, trauma inducing. But to have however many Muppet episodes playing at the exact same time as sound. But they do have it, and it's kind of cool. So they should just do that with Detours. And it's like a little TV. It has to be next to the bathrooms. Actually, I think that would be the best way to do it. But yeah, apparently this is an exhibit thing. So if you ever like, if John Waters has an exhibit for you, and I've reviewed forever ago his early shorts. If you ever want to do that, I check that out. He does that a lot. But apparently other artists, someone gave me examples once. Like Andy Warhol exhibits will play rare Andy Warhols at the museum's theater, and like it's apparently a thing. It's like a bonus kind of way to get the real fans excited. So I guess they're using Detour in that manner because you're all excited. Can it be in the bathroom? Yeah, it's only by the urinals. You can only. Hey, buddy, I gotta pee. Get out of here. Go. But they're making. But Han Solo's making father-in-law jokes to Darth Vader. Come on. Every urinal has a TV playing a different episode. I like. Actually, if you saw, you could. I think you could do that. Like have different ones playing throughout the museum. Anyway, that amazing way for Detours to premiere is in a museum. Like, whatever. All right. Let's get into all the Marvel stuff because there's a lot. And yes. Okay. So first off, the Doomsday trailer, Avengers Doomsday. The thing with this trailer is that they put it out the Monday after Dune. No. The Odyssey. Which is really the Dune of its time, which is now. Sure. Anyway, they put out the Doomsday trailer on Monday. Most people believe it was put out because they knew Comic-Con, they were going to do a Hall H thing, and they wanted it before Comic-Con. But to most people, they just saw Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey and were like, real cinema. And then they put out their Marvel trailer. Did not go over as well. I really don't understand why they did it that Monday. I think it probably would have been better after Comic-Con or during Comic-Con, not that Monday. Like, I don't understand the motivation for that Monday. However, as the trailer itself, it was fun. The Shang-Chi Gambit thing is interesting because it's like, oh, we're taking Gambit serious. I thought it was a joke, but now he's a real thing. Okay. Same with yeah, I don't know. And all the characters and Steve Rogers at the end, and they're really building up Doctor Doom. I also think a big part of it is that a lot of it is all the recent Marvel phase people together, and there's just really not as much love there for like what was it called? Not New Avengers. What was it called? Thunderbolts. Like Thunderbolts or Fantastic Four, even though I like them, or like the Wakanda post Wakanda Forever. It just didn't feel like the love is there publicly, so I think like it just didn't work. I didn't mind Mystique in a costume. I actually like that. I don't love the naked Mystique thing that the movies did. I thought that was kind of, it's like, that's not Mystique to me. So I like that part actually. But a lot of it was like, this is really serious. We're still in teaser territory. And I also think it's really weird that like you have three characters who like will have huge box offices at this point, which is Spider-Man, who you establish is doing something else during this. So like, fine. But then you have Deadpool and Wolverine, and neither are in this. I'm like, what is the deal with that? Are you saving them? I also think the Captain America thing is weird because when I watch No Way Home on Disney Plus, I notice in most No Way Home stuff still they don't want to show the other two Spider-Mans. Like, why not do that again? That was like your biggest movie ever. But whatever. I didn't really. I was confused. I know Ryan Reynolds showed up and did in Jean Deadpool outfit and like all that stuff to be like, can I be in this movie and stuff. I did think that would have. I think if Deadpool was in it, people would be more excited, and Wolverine and stuff. I just think it's like having all these people at the time do that. So Cinerim said, I'm planning to rewatch every post-Endgame MCU movie between now and December. Most I've only seen once. I would like to do a ranking at some point. towards that. I want to do a Spider-Man ranking, and I still have to like write it down, and probably after my birthday. But I think, yeah, because a lot of them, yeah, I'm like, where did this? Well, here's my question, Sarah. I have a question for you. I have had this question of, is Far From Home, do you count that as post Endgame or not? I'm just curious. I think I'm counting it as post Endgame, but are you counting it as post Endgame, or are you doing, because that's a post Endgame but pre COVID? Are you doing, the real question is, are you doing, if you pick? I guess the thing is, if you pick Far From Home, sorry, Sarah, if you pick Far From Home, if you don't pick Far From Home, you're really just doing the post COVID MCU. But if you pick if you do, or if you don't, you're just doing COVID. If you do, you're doing post Endgame. I guess that's the. I guess yeah. I guess that's it. I guess that's it because there's no movie. If you cut that out, that's the only pre 2020 post Endgame. Anyway, cheers to you, sir. No, I'm curious. Are you going to do the second Spider-Man movie? Cheers to you. But yes, I would like to rank them because I think there's more good ones. I also think people are really not cool to Wakanda Forever. Rewatching that, I was like, has a lot of work to do. Oh, you're what? No, I rewatched this too. Okay, I was curious because I've noticed some people consider it just a kind of add on, like a, I guess that kind of like a, I don't know, a last kind of act of that of the Endgame thing. So there is some debate. Anyway, we got that. It was released for Comic-Con. It looked very Marvel to me. To me, it looked very Marvel, and it looked like they weren't ashamed of like all the Marvelness in it. And to me, it looked like fun. But I will say, public wise, I'm like, you should put one of those guys in it. I'm not a big Deadpool person, but it was like, it's interesting not having as many heavy hitters as it usually feels in these things. So it's going to be. I am curious how this one does. It's going to be interesting. We get kind of two big recasts. One would be Black Panther. That's David Johnson has been cast as Black Panther in Ryan Coogler's Black Panther 3. Yes, I mean, we already knew he's coming back, but he's coming back. This, I think, is December 2028, I think. I forget. That's not the real story. Who knows? They haven't started shooting. But the thing with this casting, and there's been so much talk about it and all this stuff, is that I know certain people, like supposedly Aaron Pierre passed. A lot of bigger actors passed because they didn't want to follow Chadwick Boseman's shadow. And supposedly the casting had been going on for a while now, which is like, it's a hard casting to do. I think he works better. I obviously have not seen him do his Son of T'Challa. One, he sort of looks like that kid a little. I don't know, that was in Wakanda Forever. But I also think like you need somebody who can do like prestigious stuff, can mess around, who's more of a well-trained actor, who's done all sorts of roles, which Chadwick had. You really don't want, I think people going, oh, I want an action star with the muscles and stuff. That wasn't really Chadwick Boseman, you know? He didn't really do that many action movies. And I think David Johnson is more in that vein than anyone I heard suggested. So I actually think it's really smart casting. And I think also, like, I'm sure Coogler had something to do with that casting at this point. And I actually think he's going to be a good part with it. But I am surprised. I agree with you, William. I am surprised Ryan Coogler is doing a franchise film after the success of Sinners. I do think this is probably his last big franchise film. But I also am like, I respect that he wants to see it through the trilogy till the end, and I'm curious what he would do with it. Because I do think, like, I mean, Wakanda Forever was a hard film to make. I mean, it's just like, it's definitely his worst movie. I'm gonna say that 100%. But I do think he probably wants to leave it in a good note and bounce and do his own thing after. And I have a lot of faith in him. So, you know, I don't know if he was locked in. I think he could have probably got out of it, or they gave him a ton of money. But his production company is involved in like Eyes of Wakanda, and I bet he's like wants to do what a lot of directors do, like Ridley Scott. Well, Ridley Scott's apparently really holding over the Aliens franchise, but a lot like Cameron or a lot of directors will just get forever money by getting to be the executive producer forever, and I think that's probably what he's going to be with Black Panther. David Johnson will keep playing him, and they'll have another director for 4 and all that stuff. I'd assume that's the plan, but we'll see. Um, no, well, one thing I will say about it is I like at the end they don't have they like realize like they shouldn't be fighting, and it actually I don't know. Maybe I was being too nice when I saw it because I had a lower opinion, but I don't think it's like as good as any of the other movies. But anyway, the other news is, and I think this is the news Austin wants to be talking about the most, is Ryan Gosling is going to play Ghost Rider in a film directed by Shawn Levy, which immediately got a release date despite Kevin Feige saying he's embarrassed about Blade. Okay. But this immediately got a release date. It's going to be directed by Shawn Levy, who was, of course, I think the noodle thrower in the MST3K film. Was it Zombie Holocaust or Zombie something? But anyway, I'm like not 100% on this. Ryan Gosling has previously played a motorcycle guy in A Place Beyond the Pines, which is a cool movie. Well, it's an okay movie, but I like that part was cool. And I think he'll do a good job. I wouldn't mind if he does serious Ryan Gosling again, but I'm also like, are you just going to do franchise stuff? I know for a while he was like, I just need to do that over and I just need to be in bigger stuff to make more money because he wasn't really in big stuff for a while. Zombie Nightmare, thank you. Oh, do you think Shawn can get John Michael Thor or Tia Carrera from Zombie Nightmare to be in Ghost Rider? You know what, man? I'll be honest. I love Tia Carrera. She was a big crush for mine because of Wayne's World. So I would love to see her. I mean, she got to be in Lilo and Stitch, and I think she deserved it. Cheers to you, Austin. Oh no, I know Austin was waiting for this. I don't Shawn Levy. I don't think is like my first choice, but it sounds like with most people, Shawn Levy, they're like, oh, he'll do kind of what I want, so we'll keep him. But it is like sad to see. I saw a lot of people going, oh, Gosling used to be like this cool guy, and now he's just in big stuff. But I get, maybe we'll see what else he does and stuff like that. But I'm not a big Ghost Rider guy, so I don't have much. I did review it, but it was a while ago when I reviewed Zombie Nightmare. Um, uh, but yeah, we'll see. I was a little surprised they actually did it, but it seems like Gosling's very in with Disney because of the Star Wars Starfighter and all that. There are a lot of rumors that Secret Wars might get delayed or split into 2. Kevin Feige has basically said that's not going to happen. They are going to make the release date and the shoot's going to be fine and all that. We'll see. There seems to be a lot of misinformation, and then they'll have to pay Downey $50 million more dollars. I'm like, that's already contractually, that's already figured out. Like, yes, they are. They're not writing a new contract. I'm lost on how this is confusing for everyone. My only Secret Wars thing that I have theorized is I do think he'll get the black suit in Secret Wars. I think Spider-Man will get the black suit. I really think they'll do the traditional route, which I think is kind of cool. But I'm basing this on nothing other than I think a Tom Holland black suit Spider-Man movie could be cool. So anyway, that's just my own nonsense. I made it up. Not come from anywhere. But yeah, Kevin Feige did talk about how he's embarrassed that Blade never happened and stuff. Okay. I just apparently a lot of people think he'll be in Ghost Rider or there'll be a Midnight Suns movie or they're going to do something with him. But no one really knows. And I thought it was kind of just to save face a little, but you could have just put him in something. It feels like at this point, if he's not in the trailer for Doomsday and we don't see him in anything, you guys just fucked it up. Part of me thinks Mahershala probably shouldn't have gone to Marvel with that deal, and they should have never tried. But whatever, it definitely feels like that movie is dead. He kind of sort of confirmed it in a way. The other two things is supposedly they have said, and I've heard this. This is actually not new. Other Marvel executives in other interviews have talked about this, and I think I've mentioned it before. The roles, I guess it's more of a confirmed as a story. But apparently they do have a tradition of Zooming with Adam Driver, and then he turns down whatever movie they're pitching, and he's very nice about it. But they have offered him like we know Mr. Fantastic. There's rumors about Doctor Doom and other people. But it's funny that Adam Driver apparently like they do offer it to him, and apparently he does hear him out, and then he goes, "No, I'm not going to do it." So that's his story, and I talked about it. Finally, this came out today that Wonder Man, despite getting a bunch of Emmy noms, actually doing well in streaming ratings, and having a confirmed pickup for season 2, is not getting a season 2. They've canceled it. I do not understand this at all. I really do think Disney's not running in the best way at this point. Because like it feels like anything that's not a massive hit, they have no interest in. And like how are you going to build stuff? Like you were building this character, like season 2 could have opened really well, and I get like you're moving away from the Marvel shows, but I thought this was a good show version, and like I don't know, very disappointing. It's just disappointing. It's really it just sucks. It sucks that Wonder Man got canceled like this. Especially like when I saw the Emmy nominations, it's like, oh, cool, yeah, Wonder Man deserves that. At least it's doing well. That's kind of neat. And like they're just like, yeah, fuck that, you know. So no Wonder Man. I as I said before, I'm not happy the way Disney's running at this point. I'm not gonna. What was that guy who canceled his Disney trip performatively on a video? That was amazing. I'm not gonna like do anything. I just like as a company, these kind of moves are not bringing in new ideas. They're just going to keep regurgitating the same shit over and over again. There's nothing to stop that. I really do think like what's happening with some of these companies with this is they're gonna loot like A24 and Focus, and these smaller guys are gonna get the hot directors. And like it used to be the hot directors would go to Marvel and Star Wars and stuff, and that's not gonna happen anymore because of how they see their treating stuff. And like I don't know. It's just so weird to me. Like so it did well and it got Emmy nominations and all these things, and like you're just like whatever. I found that to be disappointing. So um oh well. Oh well. All right, now we're going to do trailers and stuff, and we have some good how many trailers? A bunch of trailers. Okay, first, the most important trailer, the trailer for Matchbox the movie, which is definitely one of the weirdest IP movies, or desperate, let's say desperate IP movies I've ever seen, because it's basically the plot of the Matchbox Cars movie. Is unlike Hot Wheels, which has this whole like video games and cartoons where Hot Wheels are playing on the tracks, and it's like this weird world. It's kind of fun, to be honest with you. I actually kind of like it. They just have like this John Cena is meeting up with his friends. They get drugged and wake up, and he's an international spy, and they're all going to drive cars. Their friends from playing with their Matchbox cars, but they constantly cut back to that and cut to other kids playing with Matchbox cars during it. This has so little to do with Matchbox. They had to edit in Matchbox cars to prove to you it is about Matchboxes. I do not understand this. I did like somebody tweeted somewhere. I'm sorry if I don't know who it is. Said like, if you're ever wondering, yes, Mattel does not understand why the Barbie movie was successful, and I will agree. Like this is like this could be anything. Like why is it called Matchbox the movie? There's no like love of the Matchbox cars or how they play. Like they don't even get the Lego movie. They're just like, you just put some famous people and put the name on it, I guess. Like it's really remarkable how little given a fuck they do. Like it's really like they found a different script and be like, but what if Matchbox cars? And they're like, but what about it? And it's just it's pretty remarkable. It's pretty remarkable how they fucking destroyed that. It was like, wow, this is not good. There's a new Resident Evil trailer showing more things about how the guy in it, I forget his name, but although I think he's gonna be cool, he's very good at the everyman thing. Has to deliver a heart late at night, and then the whole world blows up with the zombies and stuff. It looks really cool. I like the snow in the trailer. I like how crazy it is. I'm very excited for the Resident Evil movie. I think I'll review the original, which I didn't see because of the George Romero thing at the time. I was very upset about that. But it looks like a really cool like one night survive right when the zombie outbreak happens. It sounds like a cool movie. Like this doesn't need to be a Resident Evil movie theoretically, but I think it's like if he's giving us the feeling of the games, I think that's pretty cool. Matchbox 20. What's that? Oh, I just got that. All right. Then in maybe this is my favorite trailer of these. The Thomas Crown Affair, the film directed and starring Michael B. Jordan. We got more of Michael B. than we got the girl, which is you're supposed to do both, but whatever. I mean, he's the big star. I get it. The girl's beautiful, but you know, I guess, yeah, I guess it's a little different. This is the first one where the only star is the guy. Usually, it's Steve McQueen, Faye Dunaway, Pierce Brosnan, Rene Russo, and this is just Michael B. And I mean, she's famous, but you know what I mean. Anyway, it looked really cool. It looked very fun. I did say like this is the first Thomas Crown Affair that looks like the director has seen or knows Lupin the Third, and it was like you have the racing cars, you have all this crazy stuff, but it's like very done like very like fancy, fine way, but a very much a playful kind of thing. I'm really curious about this one. I do not know. I would like to review some of those Thomas Crown Affairs. I've not seen the second one. I do like this. I'm not a huge fan, but I do like the 70s one to a degree. But I am like more into this than I was before when I heard it because I'm not a massive fan. But it looks interesting and um it does look like a very promising like kind of like robbing movie from that or like kind of like thief movie like sleek thief movie. And I think Michael B's at the time to make like kind of direct his own starring vehicle. It looks pretty good for that. So I'm excited for it. It looks pretty neat actually. It was a pretty good trailer. I was down for it. I didn't see The Other Mommy. That's the trailer I didn't see. All right, someone remind me next week. The Mystery Science Theater RiffTrax Experiments. Oh yeah, I saw someone in Baltimore with the shirt and I said, "Hey, nice shirt." And I said, "Oh, thank you." They were surprised. But the RiffTrax trailer came out this right around Comic-Con to announce the first one that's going to be in theaters September 9th and 13th. I hope to go. I haven't done my tickets yet. But yeah, we got the first trailer. It looks like a little more overshot than I thought, not as simply shot. But I'm kind of curious about how they do it. I'm a little worried. I do think that show doesn't need to be overshot, to be honest with you. So I'm a little concerned about that. But we'll see. But seeing stuff in a theater, I did not. I saw the Odyssey and they didn't have the Other Mommy trailer, so oh well. Seeing a Mystery Science Theater thing in theaters is a lot of fun. Just laughing with other fans. You don't get. I really haven't gotten to do that many times. So just for that. Okay. We got. I'll move Eben. Okay. Sorry, I'm just reorganizing everything. Jumanji Open World. This looks like half the original Jumanji and looks like a BB Newirth. I forget if she's. I didn't see the second one, but it's basically the idea of like the video game in the real world, but also it's snowing because they're trying to be like Resident Evil, I guess. And then also the video game characters act like video games, and then the mom becomes the Rock, and so it's like a whole thing. I don't know. I don't really. They do look like I do think the Rock and Kevin Hart are better in these movies than I see them in other movies. So I am like okay with that, and Jack Black as well. Oh, good night, Austin. Um, but yeah, I don't see. I didn't see the last one, but I do think it's like I've heard the rumor is it's supposed to be bad, but who knows if that's true. But I'm not sure. This is coming out right around Dune and Doomsday, so I don't expect it to do very well. And it didn't seem like it feels like it gave you enough of a concept to be like, oh, maybe this one, but I just don't think it. I don't see how it's any more exciting or as cool as the last time. Also, I think the second one was wasn't that a pre-COVID movie? It's been a while, so I don't know. We'll see, but they were at least they. I do think all the actors like commit to it at least. So I mean, I'm not gonna a little agree with you, William Allman, best actor. Um there was a trailer for the Necromancer Apple TV show. It actually looked kind of cool. I do not know that book. I'll just say it looked neat to a degree. Then we had the trailer, or a longer trailer, for Street Fighter. It had a lot of like video game sound effects in it and stuff, which I thought was kind of cool. It looked to me like Mortal Kombat 2 did, where it's like, oh, cool, you finally made a good movie of this, but you're also too late because I don't think any younger people fucking care. Like, does anyone under my age want to see a Street Fighter movie? Like, I just don't. It looks like they did a good job, but I'm like, for me, but like, is anyone under, like, I don't, do people, are really like, people excited for that? I just, I find that to be a little like, I feel like we should have done this 10 years ago. Like, I really don't, like, we're finally getting around to this, but I think like you missed the mark there. But I do think it looks like a lot of fun. I'm excited for it. Street Fighter. Now, the last trailer was for Ebenezer, which has Johnny Depp making his return to the other well-known horror director from the school I went to, Ty West, who, look, this looks pretty fucking bad, to be honest with you. Like, the idea of making sort of a prequel, but it's also, oh, hey, Javier Portillo, a sort of prequel Christmas Carol looks really bad. I really don't understand it. And Johnny Depp doing his goofy Johnny Depp thing. I do agree, as people were saying, like he really did lose his mind when he made tons of money for the pirate sequels. And I will agree, like his performances fell off the cliff after that point. It's hard to tell people you used to like him at some point. And then he was at Comic Con playing Ebenezer Scrooge and stuff. I don't know what's going on with this guy. I just don't. I think he's so past gone, and he likes being the goofy guy in every movie. And they're trying to do silly stuff. And a lot of people have said like him falling into the bed was a bit of a Nightmare on Elm Street reference. I'm sure because it's Ty West, it was. But other than that part, which I'll give you, that's kind of fun because Johnny Depp's there, and he was in Nightmare on Elm Street and all that. I just don't see it necessary. And I do think a lot of big, great actors try to do Scrooge, and your idea is like, oh, well, Johnny Depp's a great actor, but I think he's past his prime at this point. I think he needs to work. He needs to work with an interesting art director. He doesn't need to do like. He really has not been good since the second Pirates sequel, and some people say even from the first Pirates sequel, the first Pirates movie. Like I really think like him being in big movies ruined that guy because he was just like, I'll just be the silly, I'm, a silly cartoon character actor guy, but it's just. Mm, mm. I just don't. I don't know if he was doing something interesting with it, but like what most of the Christmas Carol already explains his origins. Like that's the whole story. So like, what are you gonna have it be longer? Like I don't. I don't. I'm a little lost on what they think they're gonna do there. Um, I did like when they're like, we're gonna find out what was it, what he was before he was Scrooge, and like I don't. Whatever. Also, I won't spend too much time on this, but apparently, Jared Leto, although we've all known he has a lot of allegations, and generally, I don't think the public likes him that much. But because there is a BBC documentary, it looks like he has actually been canceled. Uh, uh, so I guess he's over, even though he got to be in two big movies in the last 12 months that cost over $200 million. So I don't fucking know, man. What what are we doing here? I just find that to be so bizarre. Everyone's like, now we're done with him. I'm like, now. After Master of the Universe and Tron, like all right. And we knew these things before. Like I don't. There's so many allegations, and they're like, but now I'm like, fuck off. Like, wasn't like Tron was like, oh, we're gonna get that sweet Jared Leto box office. Like, I really don't understand why he wasn't canceled a long time ago and why he was in big movies. None of it makes sense. So, I wasn't a big fan of his Skeletor because Skeletor has to be whiny. I don't like this. Let's make Master Universe tough. Like, no, grow the fuck up. It's goofy shit. Like, he should be. Anyway, he was fine, but anyway. William Mama said, "Did you like the Nightmare on Elm Street reference in the Ebenezer trailer where he gets stuck in the bed?" I did. I mean, I said that, but yes, I did. Like, I did. I did. I mean, I appreciate that they did that because I know he's actually. There's this kind of weird thing where some people will say he's embarrassed of it, and he's always been like, "No, I'm not. I never said that. Like, that's never happened." Because I think people always think he'll turn it down, but supposedly he's actually very cool about his past properties. He was not whiny. You got to be real whiny. But like how he did 21 Jump Street. I've heard that Johnny Depp sucks, but he doesn't suck at like if you apparently if like you take on a property he used to be in, he'll be like cool about it. That's what I've always heard. But anyway, cheers to you. Because I think didn't they whatever nightmare he's in? No, but it's not cartoon whiny. That's all I'm saying. Maybe we're splitting hairs on the whininess of Skeletor. Isn't he? He's in one of the Nightmare on Elm Street. After 4, it's like I know up to 4, and then New Nightmares. That's 7. So 5 and 6. I'm a little iffy on. I never saw the Sam Bayer one. All right, the 2 DC trailers. DC really didn't do as much at Comic-Con, which is surprising. They just kind of let Marvel do that shit. Okay, thank you, William Miller, for clearing that up. Okay, he said Johnny Depp initially wanted his name to be changed in the credits of the film because he thought he did a bad job. People misconstrue that to him being embarrassed about it in modern day. Okay, thank you for clearing that up. I was always wondering where that came from. So, yeah, he was self-conscious about himself, not at. I think he does a good job. It's just not very Johnny Depp. It's like him just being another cast member. So DC, which kind of sat out Comic-Con a bit. They did have 2 pretty big trailers. We got the trailer for Lanterns, where we learned the villain are the Manhunters. It actually looked pretty good. But it is like I think it's a good role for Aaron Pierre and Kyle Chandler and everybody in it. And it looked interesting, but it looked very much like an HBO Green Lantern show. I think like their idea is basically like you can't do cartoony Green Lantern, even though it's like Green Lantern. He can make whatever he comes up with his mind, but whatever. They got to do serious Green Lantern. But I think it kind of works because there is a whole iconography there. Then we have the trailer for Clayface. This looks really cool. I'm very down for a Clayface movie. I think it's actually could be a cool idea. I'm into the script. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's about Ozempic and all this." I don't know if that's fully. I think it's about a guy. I do think the idea of someone trying to recapture their youth or their beauty and stuff is really interesting in this day and age because I watch regular TV and half the ads are like, "What if you have bags under your eyes? People will throw you in the trash. You better fix those." So I do think there's a lot to the beauty industry that is not just Ozempic, and I do think Clayface can get into that. But he was like horribly disfigured, at least in this trailer. And he's an interesting character, but also those Batman animated series episodes, those first 2 are amazing. And it's also I actually think it could be cool, but we'll see the deal with that. I will give DC that it's budgeted correctly, which is a thing all superhero movies have a problem with, and in a good release date, and like they're actually trying something new. I do think superhero studios are moving away from doing stuff like this. Like it's very much going to become, here are the hits. We need hits and nothing but, and they're not going to try to do risky stuff for a little bit, which I think is kind of sucks. It kind of sucks. So, but I think it's just like they've had too many bombs, and I also think like Guardians was a hit because they got an interesting director, but there is a Dick Tracy villain who was a lot like that's true. There was. You're right. All right. Days of Thunder 2. I know. Oh, I need to hurry up. How many things do I have here? Days of Thunder 2. This is we'll see. Days of Thunder 2. This is the sequel to the film I don't think anybody really gives a shit about, which was sort of his Top Gun follow-up. Jonathan Levine is going to be directing it. I think this is probably a bad idea. Personally, I remember more the cups that were sold that I think were Roger. Like I remember all the ads when I was a kid more so than I remember the movie, which I saw when I was a lot older. It's just not very. I remember it was shot very well, and I think that's where he meets Nicole Kidman. But it's not. Days of Thunder is not very good. So I don't know, but whatever. Scott Mosier, who is going to be doing a Mad Hatter film for MGM. Scott Mosier, if you're wondering, yes, is the guy who used to work with Kevin Smith, but then ended up directing The Grinch, and now it looks like he's going to be doing a Mad Hatter movie. Good for Scott Mosier for one, leaving View Askew and actually becoming like a big enemy. One of the weirdest careers, but I like in all the write-ups they're like basically like we have to acknowledge like he produced like most of the View Askew universe. He worked with Kevin Smith for a long time. That's why you're confused, basically, because it's like, oh, okay. Sound of Thunder too. Yeah. Um. Yeah. I don't know. Snowball. Good one. Supposedly, there's going to be a new My Little Pony YouTube only show called My Little Pony Friendship Forever Friendship. I by the way, I know very little about My Little Pony despite going to conventions for it. I mean, I was invited, so but I was just because I was on the POS podcast. I the thing with this, I'm kind of wondering between this and the Ninja Turtles YouTube show, which I don't think it has come out yet. Are we sure? I don't know. If corporate YouTube always had a problem, like corporate corporations making YouTube channels, there was always a problem. The money was always the problem, right? So like, I don't understand how financially this works now, and part of me thinks this is going to lead to like a huge crash of these. But yes, they're still doing My Little Pony. There are still fans. I actually did check. It was like, did AC Race Fest or any of those guys talk about this again? I know there's some forever bronies, and then most of the fandom bounced in 2019. But is Apple Clumps safe for YouTube? Are they? I hope Apple Clumps is in it. My my very inaccurate My Little Pony character who just eats out. I don't think there's any. I don't have any idea what Apple Clumps is. It's just something I made up. So, all right. This is something I wanted to talk about a little. Is if you've heard Tom Holland doing press, he's talked about how he's making a Fred Astaire biopic. If he wants to do that, in a sense, that is fine. However, in Fred Astaire's will, he asked that never happen. His family is very against this movie happening. And I'm also like, Tom Holland, he's like, maybe you're a good dancer or something, but he's like maybe one of the greatest dancers ever on movies. What are you doing here? I am curious, like, supposedly you can still do this, like, legally, but if the whole family's, like, against it, I don't know what you think you're doing, and who are the other... I mean, it's going to be interesting, like, who's playing Ginger Rogers, who's playing... I guess Judy Garland that one time. I'm like, are you going to do Bandwagon? Or are you going to... I don't know. I get if he wants to do this and he's just doing big movies and this is more of his Oscar thing, but it doesn't work when like his whole, everyone who is related to him is like, yeah, we don't want you to do this. And I don't want him to mess with the legacy of Fred Astaire in any way. Top Hat, I think is one of the best directed movies of all time. If I made a best directed movies of all time list, I would put Top Hat on it. Probably Swing Time too. But definitely Top Hat. I love Top Hat, but I just don't. I'm like, if the family doesn't want you to do it, be respectful. And I've noticed no one's asked him about that. And in fact, a lot of the articles that he wants to do it do not mention sometimes that his family is against it. So I understand it's not a legal question, but it doesn't bode well. All right, I should finish up a few of these things so we can talk about box office. The Clueless show that was gonna happen and then got canceled is back. It is the Clueless sequel series. It's going to be starring Alicia Silverstone as a new home. It's been greenlit for Paramount Plus. They picked it up from Josh Schwartz, Stephanie Savage, and Jordan Weiss and CBS Studios as a limited series. It's going to have... I saw 6 episodes. That's not in my notes. But anyway, I keep hearing 6 episodes. It's going to start filming next year. I'm surprised because I had noticed there's been Clueless is not as big as people thought in certain ways, but I do think I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of like, I think Clueless is best as a movie. I know it was a show and all that, but like, does anyone like that show that much? I don't know. And Paramount Plus, to talk about it, yeah, we'll just talk about it. Paramount is trying to do the vertical short video thing, although everyone's saying Quibi. I think this is more to do with the microdrama trend, which I have not gotten into at all. And I understand is really into AI, a lot of that microdrama stuff. And supposedly this is their answer to that, not an answer to Quibi. Although I think had Quibi launched post-COVID, maybe it would have worked. But as many people are saying, oh, they're trying to do TikTok. Supposedly they're not really doing TikTok. If you read more, they want to counter the microdrama thing, which I'm surprised everyone's been criticizing Netflix for not doing. I don't like the Ellisons. I don't like how they do business. But I will say, if you're running a streaming service, I'm very surprised Paramount Plus was the first one to try to do microdramas in this way because they're all vertical and stuff. So it's in a sense a smart move if they're just trying to counter the microdrama thing. They're trying to be Quibi, that's weird. But if what it sounds like they're just doing microdramas, I don't want to say this, but it's actually like a smart idea. I'm surprised Netflix did not do this yet. Or maybe they are and I missed that. However, their merger with Warner Brothers, which I do not like and I didn't change my mind on, has been stalled a lot by lawsuits, particularly from the Department of Justice from various states, including the state I live in, New York. They've said they've delayed it till June 2027, which will cause massive overages that they owe billions of dollars even to Netflix and Warner's and all this stuff. I think they will owe 1.7 to Warner, 1.7 billion. There's two problems with it, and the EU signed off on the merger, by the way. There's two problems with this that I will bring up. Sorry, I keep saying I will bring up. I'm going to say it, but one is this amount of money they're spending will just make Paramount charge us more with the Warner Brothers merger. That's all that's really going to do. The other thing is, let's say they stop the merger, which in a sense is good if they stop if the Ellisons are away from Warner's. The bigger problem with all this is Warner's is still going to sell. Paramount going away is good. But there's a bigger problem is that Warner's, when Paramount goes away, will probably go to Netflix or Universal or somebody. So I think, like, yes, it's good, but the overall thing is Warner's is going to sell. So what is going to ultimately happen? I just think I don't know. We'll see what the deal is with this, but it's sort of like it's more complicated than Paramount's gone, yippee, celebrate. I mean, maybe Warner's will be like, our debt doesn't count now. I don't know. Money's not real. I don't think that'll happen. But anyway. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it will. Yeah, it probably won't be good. All right, let's talk about the box office. Sorry, we are definitely running long tonight. I apologize. If people wanted to sleep or something. So the Odyssey is doing crazy good. It actually had a smaller drop than people realize. If anyone wants to do, I guess, super chats, we are getting towards the end of the show, but it always helps. And then did we get to a Godzilla roar? No. Right? Okay. Well, we're close. But anyway, just thought I'd mention. Anyway, the Odyssey is doing insanely well. It made 90 mil. Holy fuck. It went up. Okay. It made $90 million. It went down by 27%, which is like, what was it? It's now the second biggest movie this summer. It is the third best second weekend hold after 100 million opening. Wicked was actually the best because it opened before Thanksgiving. That's why. It's doing really good. Mostly people credit premium, but they're not giving percentages, but we'll just believe that, I guess. It's the best second weekend for an R-rated release ever. It's the fifth best weekend open. It's the fifth best number one movie weekend of the year. And it's Nolan's fifth biggest domestic. It might even break It's probably going to end up being his biggest film that's not The Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises, and has a real chance to outgross one of those. That's how big the Odyssey is, for the clear on there. It's the second biggest domestic movie for Matt Damon. First biggest is Oppenheimer, so it sounds like he's going to break that. It's the ninth biggest R-rated domestic movie. It made $200 million worldwide, and it will be extending its IMAX run, at least in America, till mid-September. At this point, where are we at with it? It has made almost $700 million worldwide, and we're at 334 domestic. So that's pretty crazy. And that we're making, this is the second weekend. I know we didn't talk about it last week. It's making $200 million worldwide second weekend is insane. But let me get to Cineram has this very generous super chat. It'll be very weird. Hold on. It will be very weird to live in a world and time where WB is not its own studio. Even after Fox and New Line have already been bought, this is still a bizarre thing to accept. It is a bizarre thing to accept. But I think like throughout this whole thing, we should accept that this is what's going to happen. Like, this is what's going to happen. Warner's is going to stop existing. I just don't think, like, I know a lot of Warner shareholders don't want it to, but that's just like, they are going to be sold. And I know it sucks. I'm just like, I just wanted to bring that up because I'm like, yes, I don't like what they're doing, but I'm going to put this in a glass, if you know. The top of this hole. The top of this was okay. That looks more sanitary. I didn't realize how bad the top looked until. All right, cheers to you, Cinnamon. It looks like pee. All right. No, you're right. You're right. No, it is. It is going to be a weird thing to accept. I remember when there were multiple different companies, and now look at us. Is that Leonard or Raph? I guess he's wearing a sword, so it's Leo. Anyway, all right, and we got a Godzilla roar. Let's give. Man, I hope he definitely got like a match Hot Wheels. We get Hot Wheels from a Matchbox. Got rammed into this guy. Oh well. All right. Since we're past 4, here you go, guys. Oh, we had like a lens shift. We had a focus shift there. All right. No, I agree. It will be weird. All right. The rest of the box office are all really close. Within like the next 4, it's like 10 million, 10 million, 10 million, 9 million. And the changes happen there. Moana went down by 40%. It's not doing well. It did cross $100 million. I think estimates say it's going to lose at least $200 million for Disney, which is impressive in how bad they're doing. But it's made about 235 worldwide, which is not good considering everyone thought it was going to be a big hit. It's not. But it did cross $100 million domestic. It was number 2 at 10.6. At 10.2, we had Hadestown, which we're seeing more of a trend with this, with Broadway pro shots, with Hamilton last year doing really well. We've seen other big events, but Hadestown, which isn't the name that Hamilton is, but it's still, I mean, fuck it. It did better than Toy Story 5 that weekend, in less theaters. I think of the top 10 is the second biggest per screen average. It did really well. I think this is a good idea for Broadway shows. It gives them a little more money, and Broadway shows are expensive, so I think that's really cool, and it's another revenue stream for them and a good use of theaters, so it's fine. I hope people get a little more creative with the pro shots. I'm going to be honest with you there, but I think it's a good avenue for Broadway shows and movie theaters to do both. Then also we have Toy Story 5, which is at $448 million domestically because it's bombing so bad they need to fire people. But we're also at over $1 billion and 575 internationally. And it went down by 26.2%, which is holding very, very well. It is the 4th biggest domestic Pixar movie, the 7th biggest animated film, and the 3rd billion-dollar movie of the year because it recently did that. Minions and Monsters, which is at number 4, and I found this to be interesting, is actually doing better overseas because they believe in real cinema. I I guess. Yeah, it's doing a lot better overseas, and it's still holding all the. It's interesting that releasing all three family films in a row fucked all these three movies except for no, sorry, it majorly fucked Moana, but Toy Story 5 and Minions and Monsters are holding very well. So uh when will Godzilla fart in a film? Maybe in the Godzilla vs Kong movies. I mean, those are so ridiculous. I believe it. Evil Dead Burn is kind of crashing a little bit, but everyone keeps saying it didn't cost anything, so we'll just believe that. The Invite has stayed at number 6 for a little bit, which is good for that. And then what was the other one? Motor City did okay. I'm still curious about that. I needed to see Will. He's not here tonight. Will's review of it. I know he did a review of it. I don't know if I'll get to see it, but I'm very curious about it. And Obsession, guys, this might be the last time we talk about Obsession in this segment. It's been in the top 10 for 11 weeks. It's the movie who's been in the top 10 the longest. It actually fell 35% rather than its usual like 26%. Most people believe it will not be in the top 10 next week. But you know what? I don't buy it. Obsession is gonna say I just like, is it gonna get to 12 weeks? I know we're gonna see a lot of films lose theaters this weekend because of Spider-Man, and there's projecting what $800 million worldwide and all that. But in all seriousness, I still think Obsession won't go away. I really don't think it will. But yes, it had the longest streak of being in the top 10 of the year so far. Obviously, there's enough time for somebody to break that. But it was sort of tied with Project Hail Mary, which had 10. It has broken that with 11, and it's at number 10. So this might be the last time we talk about it. And we did do worse than last year because of Fantastic Four. Some of these are a little silly. The two international things is Stephen Chow's Kung Fu Soccer is doing really good in China. It's a sort of follow-up to Shaolin Soccer. I really should get on more Stephen Chow stuff. I've talked about him a lot on here, but haven't. And then the Chikwa movie has been doing well in Japan. So Alex Myers healthy. Yeah, Alex Myers is why. All right, to talk about some hold on. Okay, we have a few. Wait, was he? Anyway, we have a big Obit section. Sid Mead, the artist and designer, died this past. I've died recently. I don't know him super well, but his design was very beautiful. We had Chuck Russell, who directed The Mask and the 80s Blob remake and was a pretty well regarded director, passed away recently as well as the guy from Once and The Commitments, Glenn Hansard, passed away. I'm not the biggest fan of Once, but Commitments plays in my apartment once a year. My wife loves that movie, so I see that guy all the time. So R.I.P. to him. Kavinsky, who did Night Call, which most people know from Drive, but I actually did listen to a few of his EPs after Drive and stuff. He actually has a lot of cool music, specifically about a car driving on a highway and stuff, running away from the cops. He sort of had this whole plot line in his music and stuff. It was actually really cool. Other than just that one song from Drive, but I always liked his kind of synth heavy stuff. It was always really cool. And R.I.P. to him. And finally, I think this one's a little sad, and it was actually a celebrity death I had to talk to at least my daughter about. Was Kaylee Hoti, who's the deaf girl who could communicate with Godzilla in King Kong. And Godzilla vs. King Kong died in a car accident in Maryland since the last stream. That one kind of hurts just because my kids and I watch those semi-regularly, and she's, she was always really like the part all the kids really liked and stuff. And like my daughter knew who she was talking about when I mentioned her. And I think, I do think she'll live on in the legacy of, Godzilla films and stuff like that. And it's sad to see her go. I feel really kind of sad about that. So R.I.P. to her. That's a sad, because she was rather young. All right. All right. When we get back, I'm going to talk about a Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends episode, Spidey Goes Hollywood. And then it'll be the end of the show. I'll try not to spend too long. I just need to use the bathroom very quickly. and then we will continue the show. Thank you all very much for being here tonight, being as cool as you guys always are. I'll be right back after this, and thank you for being here. Yeah, I'll be right back. Okay. I am back. Hello. And it is late. Okay. All right, we're gonna talk about. I'll just get into it there. Sorry, I went. I guess we started late, so it's maybe not as late. Oh, I tell myself there. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing good tonight. Thank you all for being here. Sorry, it's been a little bit. But yeah, if since this is the end of the show, I know I mentioned before, but if anyone likes to do a super chat or would like to before the end of the show, please do so. Because this is so we're doing Spider-Man, not Spidey, and his amazing friends, and then questions, and then that'll be it. So if you would like to, this is your last chance at the. I'm gonna keep the lights flashing until. I'm gonna do the flashing at the end because I think I owe you guys one of those, but I'll only do it for a little bit unless there's more super chats and all that. Anyway, and maybe yeah, we'll see. All right. Yeah, Sam Neill's in Godzilla Supernova. Jesus, it's gonna be a weird. I have to RIP to a lot of people. All right. So, this. Wait, where? Okay. This, I'm assuming you can hear me. Can you? Okay. This episode of Spider-Man and his. Okay, today we're going to talk about an episode of Spider-Man and his amazing friends that is sort of Hollywood related, I guess. It's called Spidey Goes Hollywood. Okay. It is about a director. This is I think it's the 8th or ninth episode, depending on which order. I've seen it done several different ways, but it's early in season 1. Apparently this director called Sid Blockbuster is making a movie about Spider-Man, but just like Spider-Man, turn off the dark, people keep getting hurt and going into accidents, so you need to bring in the real Spider-Man. Thankfully, Spider-Man Peter Parker finds out Aunt May needs money, and the guy offers him basically that, and then also Iceman and Firestar are there too. So they come along to shoot this movie, and they take the bus, which I feel like the studio could have flown them out, but whatever. And on the bus, they run into the Hulk, and then the Hulk joins them, or Bruce Banner, and then joins the production. But Mysterio is messing with the production, and also has a bonus Hulk and stuff. And they're filming all these real superhero fights, which work out better special effects wise for them. And yes, this show's kind of weird because first off, this is running at the same time as another show called Spider-Man. It was animated the same with the same voices and the same sound effects and the same music cues, but they're not the same universe. They don't acknowledge each other ever, which is weird. This episode I saw played at the Museum of Moving Image on this little like couch TV setup they used to have. And supposedly they apparently played other episodes for a little bit, but when I was there, they'd always play this one, Spidey Goes Hollywood. I thought because there's a new Spider-Man movie and the Hulk's in it, and I think there's a mutant in that. Maybe I thought maybe this was a good reason to talk about this, and I've always kind of known and referred to this episode. Frankly, what the fuck is that? Oh, they want me to use Google Gemini? No. This aired on November 7th, 1981. This show got rebroadcast a lot of times. It was written by Christy Marks, and apparently Larry Houston, Christy Marks, who was the creator of Gem and the Holograms and did a lot of other cool stuff. And then Larry Houston also worked on this show, and he is a big X-Men animated series and 97 director and storyboard artist, and he's amazing too. I did, if you checked my social media stuff, I did post a link to a behind the scenes documentary I found about this show, which is actually pretty interesting if you're interested. I used to have this show. It would be on Marvel would release tapes and stuff on this, so I have a bit of nostalgia for it. I think this shows certainly that the idea of like, oh, there needs to be a Spider-Man movie like 21 years before there was actually one. And the idea that, the only way to film Spider-Man is to actually have Spider-Man is kind of a good conceit, and I like that. The Mysterio thing is a little silly because like thing is like he's supposed to have like amazing special effects and magic, but they don't play on the fact that maybe there's someone on set who would realize that's what he's doing. Something like that. The Hulk thing is very random. These early 80s Marvel shows, I liked them a lot when I was a kid, and obviously MF Doom likes them, but I never found them to be particularly great. I just have nostalgia for them when I was a kid, and it was honestly the only Spider-Man we could find at the time. Media, like that was all there was. I sort of like it for that, and I think the idea of like a Spider-Man behind the scenes of a movie is kind of a neat idea, especially with Mysterio. I kind of like think you could do more with this. Like instead of having Sid Blockbuster, you could have had an actual director. You could have done something more with this, which the show doesn't really do. They do have like two robot versions of movie stars who aren't real movie stars. I think it's just like you could have done more, and I like behind the scenes movie stuff. And Spider-Man has a movie, so I thought Spidey Goes Hollywood, let's do it. This is not a particularly great show. It's I think of the Spider-Man cartoons, obviously like the original one Bakshi worked on has a little more respect, even though it's kind of junky. And then you get the 90s one has its fans and stuff. But this one, it's like not a particularly great era of animation. You can kind of tell that in this 80s thing. The music cues are cool because people did cool things with it. I do think it like sort of is like this weird kind of thing because Firestar is in it. In the documentary, that I watched, they said they didn't do Human Torch because kids would light themselves on fire, which is what I heard as a kid actually. But if you watch anything now, they're like, well, Human Torch's rights were wrapped up. So I'm actually not sure which one it really is. Might have been both. Because Spider-Man and Human Torch in the comics are best buds, and having Human Torch and Iceman sort of doesn't make sense. It probably should have just been Spider-Man and Human Torch. But this reminds me of more of like what Spider-Man kind of was to most people. Like Spider-Man's Amazing Friends was actually a pretty big show. Like most of the time when I mention Spider-Man in the 80s and 90s, people go, oh, and his Amazing Friends. I know it sounds a different thing because the new show. And it was before like every show had like a team who had a base and stuff like all the kid shows do now. But this did have the transforming base in there, and Aunt May's voiced by June Foray. It has like a lot of pretty good voice actors in this. Glenn, you know, but I have a certain nostalgia for like how people used to view blockbusters and movie making and Spider-Man being there. I'm not going to act like this is a particularly good cartoon necessarily. I think for superhero media at the time it was pretty decent, but like overall, like I'm not a big Super Friends guy. I'm not a big fans of that or something like that. Um, yeah, Frank Welker was in this. I just don't think it's like particularly stands out necessarily. It is kind of fun, the idea of like Spider-Man in a movie. They have Spider-Man play Spider-Man. Although like they don't really get into like what the story is or the script. It's just like set pieces and stuff. So I am curious, like I hope they had another one where like Spider-Man's secret identity in this movie is like way off what he is or something. They really don't have. See, to me, it's like have some fun with it. Like do what Pee-wee's Big Adventure did or something. Like have him like when he sees the movie, like he's really off like who he is. Like he's a police officer in their movie, but he's not Peter Parker, and they miss the point. And like, but he can't correct them or he'll give away his identity. Like there is like a lot you could do with this, and they kind of just go, I don't know, what if Mysterio is there and a robot attacks him? And that's kind of maybe part of it is like at the time comic book media wouldn't get into the fun and creativity of the writing of comic books as much. So this is what you got. And I guess like Spider-Man was still a very big pop character and stuff like that. But I don't know. I've had fun with this show back and forth over the years. It was fun revisiting this. It's fun to think of like what they viewed Spidey going to Hollywood would be, and having the Hulk just be there because he also had a cartoon at the time, I guess. And they did that. And then this played basically in reruns throughout the entire 80s. It's a fun idea, and because I've been confronted with this episode, I wanted to talk about it. I don't know if it's really that notable. I think it's more just it's been played and the idea of him going to Hollywood. I wish they had done something more with the concept. and something more with the Hollywood idea. They didn't, and this is what they got. But I sort of like the idea of that, and I have a little nostalgia for The Amazing Friends and even that Hulk show, which I watched too many times. But I'm not going to act like repetition makes something good, and I think I've seen enough times where I realize this isn't. But it's a fun idea of Spidey being in a movie from Sid Blockbuster and trying to make enough money to help Aunt May, and that is kind of cool. No, the Spider-Man meme thing comes from the original show, the '60s show. And also this show was a way to get Spider-Man back in animation post the '60s show because they wanted to publicize him in the comics again. Also, I will recommend that Spider-Man on the Move behind the scenes thing. It's a lot of fun, and in it, Amazing Fantasy #1 is only $1,000, which compared to what it is now is kind of a deal. Anyway, let's do. I'm gonna write questions below. I hope that was okay. I'm sort of doing weirder Spider-Man stuff this time. I should definitely do the ranking normalist that. All right, let's do questions. I'll do the 3 Patreon ones. Let's see. Let's do Cinerams first. In your opinion, what's the most inappropriate, misleading title that you can think of? Actually, I really don't like the title of Pet Cemetery because they just walk through the Pet Cemetery. This has bugged me since I saw Pet Cemetery. It should be called Indian Burial Ground or Native American Burial Ground. Like, why wasn't it called that? Like, it's like in the movie they're like, oh yeah, it's the Pet Cemetery. Who fucking cares? Let's keep walking this way. I was like, what the titular Pet Cemetery? Come on. That one's always bugged me. The Thanophobic, I know the pet comes from the thing, but like it's not really even about that. There's like only one pet who comes back. I just like whatever. The Thanophobic, was there any movies that went direct to streaming you felt deserved a theatrical release? I mean, I guess Roma. I'd have to really think about this. Wendell and Wild. The Frank Delia one that I haven't seen. I'm gonna review that eventually. I want to say K-pop, but that did get it did get a release. I'm just gonna say those because I can't think of any more. Not sure. There's probably some I did and I like forget. But yeah. All right, and the last one before we get into the questions. Austin says, who's asleep right now. Hey Jim, what a show. I'm glad you brought up the Chikwa movie box office news. Breaking looks like it's coming to us August 20th. Maybe you could do a review with Salty DK Dan. My question, which had nothing to do with Chikwa, in honor, I want you to do a spoken word version of Zendaya is Michi. Okay. And he linked, hold on, let me go to the. I haven't thought about that because usually she's in like 2 movies, but I notice there's no poster that says as no Zendaya as Zendaya is Athena posters, which they did for I think they did for Dune. And they didn't do it for the drama. Maybe she's like, please don't do it. This is fucking meme. All right. I'll just read it. This world may seem troubled. Nothing seems right. Oh, just remember this. It'll get you through the night. Zendaya is Michi, and LeBron James is Guanqui. Dana DeVito is Dronkel. Oh, Common is Stonekeeper, and Zendaya is Michi. She is Michi. Gina Rodriguez is Kolka, and Zendaya is Michi. Oh yeah, she's Michi. Ooh, oh, Zendaya is Michi. Zendaya is Michi. All right. Now I'm going to have to watch that. Thanks a lot, Austin. Making me watch a thing I was probably going to watch anyway. Oh, yeah. I've watched that. I think they're called On Company Time, but it's with Kyle Gass. Myrtle Beach. God, I watch that too much. I know everyone's on Mr. Jumbo, but I just discovered that Myrtle Beach sign. It's just incredible. Anyway. Ability, where have you been? I was doing family stuff. That's where I've been. But I'm back. Don't worry. Cornbread wanted to prod a bit. You said that's probably a good idea. Game movies are big right now for the Atari news, but question Street Fighter, a newer series, is that just because of Mortal Kombat 2? That is a good point, Cornbread. I think here's the thing. Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat had their time, are still selling games, but I don't think are as prominent with the younger generation. Asteroids is in every arcade I go to. So my kids know what Asteroids is. So I think I understand on a studio level why you'd be buying game rights, but I agree, like, I also think the 90s fighting game movies are like a little late. So yeah, maybe I'm wrong on that front. Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess it really should be games that are newer. Games 2000 further is a better investment. Yeah, you're right. Actually surprised that Universal bought those. Medela Butterfly, what do you want to see in Black Panther 3? Sorry, I'll have these run in. Apologies. What do you want to see in Black Panther 3? Whatever Denzel's playing. Denzel's a villain. I'm assuming his villain would be amazing. Maybe more M'Baku stuff. Definitely a really good villain like Denzel, I think, would work. That would be a good way to call it out. End it out. Emblood, why would people claim that Nolan faked the Odyssey's box office as if he's on the internet to even care about their disc? I didn't know people. No, did people really think that? Those people are fucking idiots. He didn't fake that. I think he's buying all the IMAX tickets. Come on, people are. I one thing I think a lot of people are questioning the conservative stuff on the Odyssey because it really didn't work. But I'm also like, why do we have to hear about idiots' opinions all the time? Just because it's trending doesn't mean it's good. What kaijus do you find the most terrifying? I think we're watching the War of the Colossus. Those seem really scary. And what's his name? Sorry, it's late. King Ghidorah. Ghidorah is scary because you're like, what the fuck do you even do with that? He's got like 3 heads. Anyway. The Slop Jockey, why hasn't Star Wars made a Simpsons clone? I mean, I'm surprised. You know what? I'm surprised they haven't. They should really do a detour into that. Cornbread, will Ryan Gosling Ghost Rider spawn a new wave of those types of drive jackets? Probably. Do it again. I'm sure they'll do some sort of a dumb reference. Hold on. Where are we? Question, we did that. Medela Butterfly, they should make a movie called Native American Burial Ground, the parody Pet Cemetery, Poltergeist, Amityville, etc. That's a good idea. Wait, hold on. William Munn said, Jim, how would you rank these Mumblecore films? Ooh. Wait, Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene is Mumblecore? I never thought. I don't know if are all these Mumblecore. I have questions about some of these, but I'll rank them anyway. I think some of these aren't, to be honest with you. Okay, how would you rank these Mumblecore films? I used to be really into them for a little bit. Okay, we have Funny Ha Ha, Martha, Marcy, May, Marlene, Tiny Furniture, Ladybird, Francis Ha, Hannah Takes the Stairs. I've never seen Hannah Takes the Stairs, so you're disqualified. Hannah Takes the Stairs. I think Funny Ha Ha, although my favorite is actually Cold Weather, which nobody gives a shit about. What was the one where it was in Williamsburg? That one was decent. That was okay. I think Funny Ha because it's the first, and I do think that's like the most Mumblecore, the ones you picked. I would put 1. So that way, if someone says Jim ranked Mumblecore movies, we can have a good bet. I think Francis Ha is a really, really good movie. It's probably the best of the list, but I'll give it 2. And then I put Ladybird, which I'm sorry to criticize you. I don't think is some of the, anyway, sorry. But I'll rank these anyway. I don't, who knows what Mumblecore is ultimately. Ladybird, then Martha, Marcy, Me, Marlene, then Tiny Furniture would be last. But the people have debated if Tiny Furniture is also. So I don't know. Who the fuck knows? But Funny Ha Ha is a good one. And Francis Ha is good also. I think that worked. But thank you very much for your generosity, man. Cheers to you. Are you flashing? Yes. Okay. Maybe they all are, because I don't think I know what's Mumblecore. ultimately, because I know that was always questioned back in the Mumblecore. Mumblecore is an interesting one because it's like probably the least cool um indie movement. Like it never really did well. You know, I think that's the interesting. Like even young people are like, the fuck is that? Emblity, are you familiar with DC Stormwatch? I started reading The Authority and thinking about there's a history. I need to know more for these characters. I think I just referenced it in my Wildcats video. I read it back in the 90s. I read it when it was Image. So I don't know what the DC version is, to be honest with you. But I remember thinking it was alright. Major Mekazawa, what do you think of Frank Miller as an artist? It was interesting. He went to the Spider-Man premiere and like liked it and was very nice, which is weird. His 80s stuff is great. His newer stuff stinks. But I think the ideas of Sin City are wonderful. Sometimes the execution isn't great. So Mounds or Almond Joy? Mounds. But sometimes Almond Joy. There has been some hype for Zelda movie kicks off the summer movie season next year, I realized recently. Are you going to see Doomsday and Infinity Vision? I don't. Okay, my thing with Infinity Vision, I think I said this at the time. Sorry to criticize you for Mumblecore. By the way. Why are you going? Okay, I'm gonna mumble it out. I like that. I don't mind us bring more attention to large format theaters. I think that's cool, but it is dumb. I'll probably just see it wherever. Maybe there'll be a deal on Infinity Vision. Maybe that's what will happen. Should Bubsy be the next animated icon to make the jump for video games to cinema? I barely know who that is, so sure. Okay, so now I want to push back harder. Street Fighter is both in Fortnite very popular, and Street Fighter 6 is sold well among younger and older demographics. But yeah, I don't think the film will do great. I mean, the other thing with Mortal Kombat 2 is it came out, if it had come out in the fall, I think it would maybe do better, and maybe Street Fighter will do better based on the lack of competition, but we'll see. No, I'm not a video game. Yeah, that's probably the problem with this. Rank these studios: United Artists, Miramax, Lionsgate, A24, Neon. The real question would be what era, but I'll say I would go United, Miramax, Neon, A24, Lionsgate. Were the I no because I want to see where there's is because this guy who does this public access shows that I'm still sort of loosely friends with, Sci-Fi Ninja Theater, is always talking about how great that is, and I showed a trailer to Oscar and he's really into it. So because we decided his scary thing is kaiju and giant monsters, so he wants to. We're trying to watch more of those. Favorite Sin City book that was not made into Rodriguez movie. It's been a little bit. The second one. Sorry, it has been a while. I haven't read I read them all when the first movie came out. I was very into the first movie. What's the most fun you've had this year? Probably doing something with my kids. I think Coney Island. Coney Island. That I'll put that up there. Okay. Agreed. Cornbread. Mortal Kombat. All right. William Ellman, how would you rank these Bob Clark films? I think I might have seen most of these. Baby Geniuses, Black Christmas, Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things, A Christmas Story, Dead of Night, Porky's, and Porky's 2 the Next Day. All right. Some of these I haven't seen it in a little bit. I won't rank any I haven't seen. So, I think See, here's the thing. Do you do Christmas Story first or Black Christmas? Because Black Christmas is very influential. It was the first holiday themed horror movie before Halloween. Also, cheers to you, sir. So that's a question. I might go. This is going to be controversial, maybe. Black Christmas, Christmas Story. Some of these I have not seen in a while. So don't take this as like anything. I haven't seen that children's one. Dead of Night. Hold on. I want to look. Have I seen Dead of Night? Not the 1945 movie, motherfucker. Come on. Was it Did he do? Oh, I have seen that. Maybe I'll put Dead of Night. People saying Death Stream. I'm assuming that's what you mean. I'm gonna put that. Oh, we get a Godzilla. I'll do the Godzilla after this. Maybe that'll be the last thing. If anyone has a question, you can do it after this. I'm sorry for running long. To anyone who needs to work tomorrow, like myself. Okay, so Black Christmas, Christmas Story, um, Dead of Night, Porky's, Baby Geniuses, Porky's too. I haven't seen the Porky's since they were on like Comedy Central, in the '90s, and probably not really Porky's. Are we? Can you guys see me? Man, I was thinking before I took a break. I was like, man, it hasn't really frozen tonight. Boy, was I wrong. Okay. Um. Okay. Are we back? Okay. All right. When I can see myself and how it's looking, we get a lot of outsets, which is fine. Okay. Are we? See, on all my stuff, it looked fine, but then when I look at the YouTube page, it does not look fine. Austin posted a thing on the Zombie Nightmare, a comment on my Zombie Nightmare review during the show. That's funny. So check out my Mystery Science. All right, you guys get a Godzilla because of William Ullman's generosity. Cheers to you, man. Okay, you get two because my finger slipped. All right. But yeah, I think I did that right, man. Porky's. I'm not surprised they didn't remake that. Emblity, you think Odyssey is a Hollywood metaphor of veteran Matt Damon passing the torch to MCU Tom Holland over indie darling Pattinson? No, but I heard people say it's his guilt for superhero movies. I'm like, no, it's the guilt that war is bad. What the fuck? Jesus. Also, like, he didn't look. Those movies are cool and did very well. He didn't invent superhero movies. It's very weird, people with the superhero movies. I'm like, maybe he feels bad about something else. I don't know, but I don't think it's superhero. But no, I don't agree. I can sort of see him liking Tom Holland more than Robert Pattinson. But I did like that Robert Pattinson is the only one who like questions Crystal, and it's kind of funny. Anyway, all right. I think we are done. Yes, I want to thank everyone for all your support tonight and for July. As this is kind of the if, yeah, I will have a short tomorrow because it will be for X-Men 97. I'm sorry there's so many shorts things going on. Although I like the I was proud of the Donut Palace thing. I really like that short. Please check that out if you haven't. High recommend on that. But I want to thank the following people for Super Chats, that being the Slap Jockey, William Ellman, Medela Butterfly, William Ellman, Sinram, Austin, William Ellman, Sinram, and William Ellman. William Ellman, thank you all very much. And cheers to you. There might be an Odyssey thing outside of it. If I can't do it before my birthday, I apologize. That should be after X-Men some of the next thing. There might be a compilation type thing coming out soon, but we'll probably get some more regular reviews and all that. But soon the cartoon series is going to end, and X-Men 97 is going to end, so it'll be less regular. Running shorts is probably only myself that feels bad about this. But anyway, and I'm excited for Spider-Man. I think it'll be a cool birthday weekend. That's how I feel. But we'll see. But anyway, you guys have a good night. Take care of yourselves. See a good movie, whether it's involves Mr. Spider-Man or not. Do something cool. Have an extra beer for my birthday, I guess, or whatever. I'll see you all next time, probably next Thursday. Have a good night and take care of yourselves. And thanks for everything. All right, peace. Bye.